Hello. Oh, goodness gracious. Hello, everybody. Wait, hold on. Gotta make sure I have. Let's see. Okay. And how's your mic?
Marco Polo.
Hello. Oh, goodness gracious. Hello, oh, everybody. No. Wait, hold on. Gotta make sure I have. There we go. There we go. Oh, hi, Livesy. Welcome in. Hi, Bob. Okay, let me fix the side because he's like a giant. Eat, eat, eat. All right.
Oh, Schedule 1. Such a fun game. Oh my goodness gracious me.
I can only assume it's a fun game. It seems like everyone's enjoying it. But I've heard some.
Yeah,
I heard.
I've been watching it. I haven't been playing it myself, but I've been watching not a lot of people playing it, but a bunch of people playing it, and it's like, it just comes down to gameplay. That's all of this stuff is just gameplay. It's like, how do we not understand? How do we not get that this stuff is gameplay? And it's so annoying.
It's just.
It's so terrible.
I saw. Was it? I saw some people basically describe what the gameplay is like, and it sounds actually pretty freaking ridiculous, actually, because they're
Oh yeah,
like, you can.
it's over the top craziness, and that's the thing that people like about it.
Yeah, I thought it was just a dumb substance simulator. I guess we could say that. Is I thought it was a dumb substance simulator, and I thought it was like, oh, it just has some cartoony bits about it. And it's like, okay, whatever. But then I heard that you can make substances that like make you have like powers and abilities. And I was like, what? And then you can like make a zombie apocalypse happen. And I was like, what? And I was like, what the?
Okay, those that I did not know about. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's amazing.
Yeah, I can say I was like, wait a second, excuse me? And the moment I found that out, I was like, okay, now I see why people are going crazy for this game. Okay, now I understand.
All right,
But yeah,
that I didn't know about. I had no idea you could do that.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. Now, what kind of surprised me, but also doesn't surprise me, was that uh, it is now being investigated for possible copyright infringement because there's another studio. Well, I wouldn't say this one game publisher is looking to investigate Schedule 1 because they believe that his somehow his mechanics are similar to their games, and they've made series of games of substance simulators, but they're more articulate, way more detail oriented, and obviously you get was it you get into large scale substance distributing in those games, and like try not to get caught by the cops and stuff like that. But it's like you have to actually measure out each gram. You have to be very careful of like how much you sell and how much you don't sell, profit and stuff like that. It's like it's very, very more realistic and more like was it more micromanagement in those games. But obviously, after I just said what happens in Schedule 1, who was only made by one guy in Australia, I believe. I believe he's from Australia. One guy in Australia made Schedule 1. And you can make people have electricity powers with your substances. And I was like, how are these gameplays? Like, how is it even the same? Is it because they just are both simulators? Like,
Yeah, you're making stuff. Yeah, probably.
I mean, it doesn't. Like, that's it? Like, they're not the only game with that kind of mechanics or that kind of genre. They're not the kingpins of that. See what I did there? They're not the kingpins of that gaming sphere. Okay, so it's just like the Nintendo thing all over again. They're just trying to choke out the competition and have like you know, be the only ones in that genre. But it's like it obviously just it doesn't give them a good look. And the only reason that they're going after Schedule 1 is because of its absurd popularity, dude. Like, it was crazy how popular this new game that literally, like, came out not even that long ago, just, like, started getting, like, I'm gonna say hundreds of thousands of players. Oh, careful, Bubs. Sorry. But
Yeah.
it's just...
It's also kind of funny that this is coming out of Australia, because Australia has had some of the harshest video game rules on, like, you know, showcasing or doing illicit things. So that is very interesting. Like, I do find that kind of a little odd that that's coming out of Australia.
I believe they said he's from Australia. I can't... someone correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think it was. Oh, hi. Hi, Joni. Welcome in. But, yeah, it's just... Every time... It's just... It seems to be more frequent nowadays of games trying to... What is it? Get rid of the new blood, if you know what I mean. Like, if any...
Well, I think you've nailed that on the head, because I suspect strongly that as more and more indie games come out that are really, really good, the more we'll see traditional, like, publishing people, traditional, like, major mega studios, like you know, like the EAs and that. The more I think they'll be inclined to go, oh yeah, no, this person ripped off of our stuff, and we're going to see way more Pal World, Nintendo versus Pal World stuff. And that's really, really terrifying when you think about it, because that means that we're going to have this, like, unbelievable control network trying to create and mandate, you know, all the little stuff, like all this little stuff from all the little developers and creators and content creators and that. And that's not good. That's really bad. Like, genuinely kind of worried about that. So yeah, I guess we'll see where that ends up coming to.
They also did this for Baldur's Gate 3. And a lot of people are like, well, Larian Studio is actually a AAA company. No, they're actually a AA company. And they're self-funded. They're a self-funded studio. Like, they have no backing at all. They're literally a very indie studio. And then they got permission they got permission to they got the rights, permission to make Baldur's Gate 3. And then because they did such an amazing job with Baldur's Gate 3, it just skyrocketed their popularity, and now they're more, I guess, more in the AAA sphere, like, now. But when they started out, and when they were making, might I add, when they were making Baldur's Gate 3, they're still considered kind of an indie studio. Not a lot of people were aware of how good Baldur's Gate 3. It was only through word of mouth because of early access, and they weren't really advertising themselves that broadly around that time. But yeah, of course, everyone got their eyes on the game after the infamous bear loving scene, and yeah, the popularity went off the roof. It just exploded overnight. And then you have journalists and other gaming studios coming out of the woodworks to let you guys know that Baldur's Gate 3 sets an unrealistic
expectation from developers. Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? You were able to achieve this back in the early 2000s. Like, what does that even mean? Like, okay, what I mean by that is Dragon Age Origins was the first RPG first RPG to come out that seamlessly integrated, was it cinematic cutscenes with, was it CRPG mechanics?
Yeah. Well,
So if
I
they were
mean,
able to do that, I'm just
like
saying, that's the oldest form of
BioWare.
of RPG that was able to do that.
Well, speaking of like old, like I was talking with somebody the other day, and we were talking like old school BioWare, and they're like, "Oh yeah, old school BioWare, Mass Effect 3," and I'm like, "Excuse me, what?" Like, no, no, no. Old school BioWare was Baldur's Gate 1. No, no, not a game. I'm so old, and oh my goodness, the people who made BioWare
Dude,
are so old
I
because like those games are
uh
way older,
thank
way
you for
older. I
the
mean,
raid. I appreciate it. Hello everybody. Uh but yeah, what I also peruse Reddit, and
mhm.
I've seen some people actually defend Andromeda, and they're like, "Oh, Andromeda is actually a really good game." And I was like, "No, I've played the trilogy, and I've played Andromeda, and Andromeda freaking sucks." And yeah, I guess you could say that, I don't know. I didn't really mind, was it Mass Effect 3, but I honestly think that Andromeda was like the weakest of all the weakest out of all the Mass Effects, in my
Oh yeah,
opinion.
of course, yeah. Oh no, no, it really was. Like even taking account into the kind of crappy UI system from from the original. Yeah.
Yeah. So like there's it just seems like there's been attack recently on newer indie games coming on the scene, and they explode overnight in popularity. And guess who it is? Always AAA publishers, always the same suspects, people who don't want you to have fun in games. They're like, "Oh, you're setting a expectations too high. We can't do those." Well, if you can't do it, then how are these indie games doing it? You
Doing
know?
it exactly.
It doesn't even make sense. You're supposed to be a AAA company. You're supposed to be have more access to a guy who lives in a basement in Australia. Like, what does that say about you, really? Because, like, this is ridiculous, guys. And I don't think, to be perfectly honest, I don't think it'll ever end, because it just seems to keep happening. And Nintendo isn't relenting when it comes to its lawsuit against Palworld. They really just don't like Palworld. Honestly, I think at this point, I think they, like, personally take offense to Palworld, because they seem very determined to,
Nuke it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the same can't be said for Baldur's Gate 3. It was a massive success. 20 million copies sold. And it's also kind of like a, hey, how much sugar are you putting in that tea, sir?
No, I want to go.
Anyway, so
A lot. A lot.
are you even making sure you're putting enough sugar in there? Like, I think he's just putting sugar in there. I think he stopped taste testing it. Anyways, he's doing his own substance.
Now he's turning it into syrup.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like, I don't think it'll end. I think the more indie games get popular, the more you're gonna see AAA companies or bigger companies fight back against it, which is kind of a losing battle at this point, because we already see that AAA companies are losing relevance. I'd like to say, or at least most of them. I can't say all of them are. Call of Duty still has their fan base. Nintendo, even though they're a pile of garbaje, they have their loyal fan base that'll pay out the butt for all of them, but for all their games and electronics and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. But speaking of Nintendo and loyal fan bases, apparently there's a lot of backlash coming out from after the Nintendo showcase. Are we really surprised? It's because everybody's upset with the high prices of the Switch 2 and the high prices of the games for the Switch 2. God, I love getting on the topic of AAA companies, billion-dollar companies, guys, raising prices on games and telling us to just take it because it's blatant greed at this point. And there was one person who said, "Oh, don't say greed. You're just throwing that around and it's losing its relevancy." It's been greed from the start, guys. The start, ever since they stopped making physical, they stopped distributing physical discs of games and they were all digital. It was all greed from the start, the moment that they stopped making physical copies. Because they said it costed more to make physical copies. So the moment they stopped, games should have. Sorry, who likes to play dinosaurs? Anyways, in theory, the after not distributing physical copies anymore because it was so taxing for them on their bank accounts. Why didn't the price of games go down?
Right. You'd think you'd think that'd be part of the equation, but it wasn't because I mean you can make the argument, well, they have to give that money to Steam now. It's like, yeah, but they do that on their own platforms. Like they don't even offer you a permanent discount on their own platforms. And again, it's not just them. You look at Epic, right? Like Epic's, they make the Unreal Engine. It's like they got their store. It's terrible. I dislike it. I hate it. But yeah, they're doing their thing, and it's mental.
It's just okay. So it's just I'm just so annoyed, and I'm very passionate about this topic, and I can't seem to shut up about it. But it really irks me because I feel like I'm the only one who's bothered about this the whole time. And people are just only now starting to realize, oh my god, corporate greed. And it's like, yeah, no freak, because they've been doing this for years. They've been doing this for years. And I keep bringing it up, but the first YouTube video I ever posted. Hey, chill out. I accidentally touched his tea. He was like, no, that's mine. Anyways, the first video that I ever posted on YouTube was a video about talking about the price raising from $60. Remember, it was used to be $60, guys. Remember when games used to be $60? They raised it to $70. And I complained, I was going to say the B word. I complained that they raised the prices to 70 and that's going to make it they're at some point they're going to raise it to 100 because I knew it in my gut they were going to raise it to 100. Literally the next year after I made that video, there was whispers of raising it to $100. And I was like, I freaking knew it. I freaking told you they're thinking about raising it to $100. And then a couple years later, lo and behold, Nintendo bit the bullet because remember how everyone was waiting for I'm gonna be a moment side. Give me a second.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's they're like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna keep games cheap. We're gonna keep games cheap, and then boom, like a few years later, they just run in and go, yeah, no, this is, and you're gonna see it now. You're gonna see all the companies doing this. You're gonna see all of them cycling themselves and pushing themselves towards this, and it's bad. It's just genuinely bad. So yeah, I mean, this problem is gonna keep on going. And this is gonna be such a crazy long battle. Honestly, it's gonna be absolutely insane. If we look at Sun Grand Studios, it's a guy who he's a game developer. He's also got a YouTube channel and he talks about a lot of these same issues. And he's more or less he's saying he's calling it quits. Like he's saying that he's done. He's not interested in carrying on the fight anymore because of how many people just rally behind the big, faceless corporations who are pumping out garbage, who are pumping out,
Wait,
just
who's had enough?
extreme. It's called Sun Grand Studios. He's a YouTuber. You've seen him before. We've talked about him before.
Him? He said he's done with Nintendo, or is he done with
No, he
everything?
said he's done with trying to argue with people, like with the
Oh,
regular Joe, about like their support for massive studios that are causing like,
oh, he put
you
way too
know,
much sugar in there. Oh, that's sweet. Ooh, that's sweet.
yeah.
Okay,
Well, I
anyways.
told you he's making syrup. He's not making tea. He's making syrup. So, um, so yeah, that's the direction that a lot of people are going in, because I think they're just mindless, or they don't really like think about things through, like, just like, or
So
just like they don't realize how much stuff is out there, and especially on the consoles,
the
especially on the
the
consoles.
problem is that the was it prices are rising. We know that. Everyone knows that. The prices are rising. The problem is no one's paychecks are rising.
Hmm.
People cannot afford this. And the AAA companies do not care because they know there's going to be people out there who's going to take the risk, which is, in my opinion, freaking abhorrent because you're literally making people choose between making sure that their lives are stable or risking it all just to play your stupid games that aren't even freaking worth $100, dude. Like that's just so heinous to me. And yet people are like, no, it's because tariffs, Reaver. You don't understand. The tariffs make the prices go up. They
Yeah, no,
already had the price set before the tariffs were even put in place, dude. They had the price already set and ready to go. What's the and recently our president took off the tariffs. So what's their excuse now? What's their excuse? They took off the tariffs. Why are they $80? Why is it $500 for a freaking Switch 2 when Switch 1 was like $300? Like, what's your excuse now? Unaffordable.
I think I really think that Nintendo is like losing its like soul. Not to say that people are turning bad, but it's just that I think they're out of touch a little bit. It's like, yeah, the cost of living, the cost of everything has gone up so much, but you know what else hasn't gone up? I should say not what else hasn't. It's what has not gone up. There we go. Is our pay. The average person today, and this is shocking. The average person today is making the same amount of money that they were making like for the same jobs, right? Like obviously some people, they get promotions over time, but largely the pay rate hasn't gone up in the last 25 years. So cost of housing, cost of energy, cost of like everything has just skyrocketed for decades. But now it's not actually doing anything as far as like what we're getting paid, and that's very dangerous for the average consumer, because that should be like held into account. And really, I mean, and you ask, well, that's the company's fault that's paying you. No, it's not their fault, because the cost of them doing business has gone up too. So the employers, the average employer is not the problem here. The problem has been the government, causing inflation. And yes, governments cause inflation from, stupidity and a bunch of other stuff. They're the primary people involved and responsible for this inflation, and there's things that they could do to stop it. It's like, you want to drop home prices, tell anybody who's buying property that doesn't live in that country that you can't do that. And you would see, probably, like, if you pass that law tomorrow, you'd probably see like most property prices drop by almost 30-40% overnight, as they they need to get rid of the property. They need to sell it off before before the government essentially seizes it, and then opens up a bid for the community, or like whoever, to like buy it. And then the other thing that, and I know this is going to get, some people are going to get mad at this, but if you also want to, it's like, you can't have one dude owning 30% of the farmland in the United States. You just can't do that. No. It doesn't matter how they hide it behind corporations, stuff like that. It's like, no, you cannot have single individuals or giant corporations owning massive amounts of land. It's like, no, that needs to be in the hands of individual people. And it's like, otherwise you're gonna get railroad barons. You're gonna get that again. And yeah, anyways, it's a little off topic, but yeah, that's the problem that we're seeing. That's the problem that we have. That's the consumption that the giant corporations are doing to us, the individuals. And that hurts, and that's not helping anybody. That's not helping anybody make money or be healthy in the long run.
And the state of the game industry is literally at the bottom of the barrel right now. It's like, most of the games that they release nowadays are either broken or very, very bland. Like, they don't put a lot of effort into gameplay or the story, so it's like hard to even stay with the game, because they spend millions of dollars on such a lackluster experience. So it's like, what is the point of me spending $100 on this? How is, like, and everyone's like, it's not 100, it's $80. You do realize that they're pushing for 100, right? $80 is just only a couple of steps from 100. We all know this, so it might as well be 100. Like, it's freaking ridiculous that it's even gotten to this point. And what I'm also baffled about of how fast it's escalated. It took only a couple of years for us to get to this point. And I was like, I thought they were going to at least wait maybe another 5 years. No, it's been like, what, 3 years that they're pushing for 100? I thought it was going to be another 5 years before we even get to 80. No, it took a little less than that. Like, and then it's going to take maybe less than a year for 100. Oh, God. Like, they were, like, really pushing for this, guys. You don't understand. All I'm saying is that you shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be surprised. They were literally in your face about raising the prices to $100 back when it was $70. We should not be surprised now that they pushed it. Nintendo bit the bullet and pushed it to $80. And I'm not the only one who knows that this is a terrible idea, because, as I've already previously stated, the state of the gaming industry is horribly lackluster, to the point that the quality of the game does not match the pricing. It's not...
Yeah, it's crashing out.
It is like $10 games, $20 games. They're not even 30, bro. Like, 30? You want me to pay $30 for this game that doesn't even run properly? Are you kidding me? You want me to play a game for $100? No, this is also a good point. You want me to play a game that's $100 and that has, for a fact, has microtransaction stores. So I'm not only paying $100, but the game's gonna squeeze me and push me into paying for more money of digital goods in the game. Because that's what most digital games are nowadays. They're just squeezing you and pushing you and forcing you to buy cosmetics or pay to win in games now, because that's just their cash cow at this point. So you want me to pay $100 on top of, let's say, $60 a month. $60 a month, because let's be honest, these microtransaction stores, they're starting to get really creative with the FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, you have no idea. Like, Call of Duty has implemented some interesting new tactics to make people feel less than, so that they have to buy that cool new gun that came out, that cool new skin that came out. Like, it's we're in a society. We are in a society. We have. I'm just. The gaming industry is going to collapse. It's not if, it is when.
Oh yeah.
It's going to collapse. And them pushing for games to be 100 is just escalating the crash. There's going to be a game crash, guys. You heard it here first. It's a big surprise. It's going to be a big game crash because they keep pushing us towards the edge of the cliff. They don't care about you. They don't care about the games. They don't care about the IPs. All they care about is making money before the crash happens. And that's what I feel like, because I'm like, they can't be this stupid, right? They can't be this oblivious to what's going on, right? And then I realized they do know. They do know that there's going to be a crash, and they're just going to make as much money as they can before the end is nigh.
Yeah. No, that's definitely like there's a whole bunch of people who are like, you know, they're in the C-suite, they're in the top controlling thing, and they're like, yeah, I am going to, like, we know that this thing is going to be burnt down. We know that this is going to be like, you know, everything's going to go to HE double hockey sticks. So we're just going to, you know, try and wholesale, like, not wholesale. They're going to try and like, oh no, that's what, yeah, that's right. They're going to wholesale the company essentially. They're going to like strip it down for parts. You know, and sell it off. And we saw this, like, we're seeing this with like Ubisoft. Like that's more or less what they've done with the original company. Now they're doing something that I don't even understand how it's legal, separating the company out, moving all its IPs over, and now there's no reason or way that Ubisoft One will ever make money as a company ever again. Like, they don't need to make money ever again. It's messed up. And I said I didn't want to talk about Ubisoft anymore, and here I brought it up again.
I mean, they're still in the forefront of the news, even though they try not to be. But what another tactic that they're most likely going to implement later on? Don't fall for this, guys. But they're going to start doing the the faux discount sale. Now, what that is that I've noticed that I used to work in retail. Well, is it retail? Customer service. I used to work in customer service, and I noticed that my job did this. So what they would do is that they would have the base price, let's say $6.99. So if an item was $6.99, they would raise the price to $8.99. Then they would put a sticker on it that says, "Oh, you get a $25 discount." Oh, sorry, $25. 25% discount on the item. So instead of it being $8.99, you get it at the solid price of $6.99, which was the original price before. So it's like you're not really making a. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not even saving money because that's the original base price anyways. They just artificially inflated it so that it makes it seem like you're saving money. You're not. You're just paying for the base price. They're going to do this with games. They're going to inflate it to $80, then say, "Hey, you're saving money with this discount," where it's at $70 maybe. And then it's like, you're just paying for $70, which was the base price anyways. So it's like, are you actually making, like, saving a deal? Like, you know, I hate capitalism. You know, sometimes I'm like, capitalism isn't that bad, but then stuff like this happens, and I'm like, I hate capitalism.
Well, stuff like this is like we're in unnatural capitalism. Like real capitalism, the way that it was originally designed and like envisioned by like, the greats like 150 years ago, is that they didn't they didn't really realize or think that companies and corporations could become the size that they are now. And I don't know how they never figured that out, because you did have like institutions that were around at the time that were
It's
causing those
because
kinds of problems.
it's because
But yeah,
society
it's
looked down on gamers, and they still do.
well, no,
Everyone acts like, oh, it's in the mainstream. No, they still look down on gamers. Let's not uh get confused here. There's a lot of mainstream people who look down on nerds or anyone who plays games as not a real hobby. I've seen too many people use that, oh, you're just a gamer, go touch grass, as an insult. Like, even though it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, literally outselling Hollywood in music and in movies, even at the height of Hollywood's popularity, because right now Hollywood's not really popular right now, but back in the height of Hollywood's popularity, the gaming industry was outselling it. Sorry, can you
yeah.
take
And
this side?
what I meant is like, I mean, just in general, there's a lot of companies and industries that are having this current problem. It's like independent film has had this problem for a really long time. And it's one of those things that we can now look at and say with extreme confidence that I don't think
Heck, even
that
sorry, I'm getting
that
on
the
all hyped up.
yeah, the independent studios that we
No,
see
no, no, no.
now,
No, no,
um
no, no.
that make movies and
Daddy,
stuff like that, they might never be able to hit like their full potential, because now we're gonna enter the age where like everybody can make a movie that's amazing, and the only difference between like this and somebody else, the big corporations, is just gonna be like writing quality.
I mean,
And
like,
that's gonna be a
even
fight between everybody. So
I hate to point this out, but even it's not only does was it popular was it mainstream people don't like gamers, but even the industry hates itself. Like
oh yeah,
a lot
no,
of
I
a lot
mean,
of devs, a lot of executives, they don't like gamers at all. And you can see it in the
yeah.
way that the state of the industry is. Like they hate gamers, they hate their own product, they hate their own fan bases and their own customers. So it's like, why do we even bother playing these games? And I'm not talking about like the games. I'm talking about this whole, oh, we got to take care of the corporations. Oh, we got the corporations made my childhood, stuff like that. Why are we playing these games with ourselves? Like, these are literal mind games that we're like bending over backwards to justify this blatant abuse. Like, I'm just going to call it out for what it is. This is just blatant abuse from corporations to their own customers. They just, I can't stand it. I can't stand it so much. They act like we're the problem, and it's not them at all. And they're ruining something that gamers love, and it pisses me off. I can't stand it. They're purposely ruining it because they have no understanding of what it even is.
Hmm. So no, I think I think you're right. Like, obviously, it's like I've been saying this for ages. We are going to see a big crash. It's going to happen at some point, but there is a lot of people. There's a lot of gamers who just funnel money into this stuff without caring at all in the slightest. They don't give a rip about it as a concept of like, oh, these companies are taking advantage of you. And you see this you see this a lot. And I'm seeing this now in this country with we have an election underway, and it's just like, these people have done like horrible things to us all before, right? You do get that, don't you? And so it's been an absolute nightmare. It will continue to be an absolute nightmare, and it is just stupid. It's like 10
The,
layers of stupid on top of each other.
that's why I feel more comfortable with gaming studios made by gamers for gamers, because they understand the love of the passion, the love
Oh
of the
yeah.
game, the love of the stories, the gameplay, the fun, guys. Remember when games are fun? It's just the gaming industry's lost
It's
its way, and it's just I can't say I'm sad. Well, I am sad. I am sad the way that it is now, but I do know that, like, the indie studios are just gonna pick up where the AAA gaming studios left off. They're just gonna make new games for customers who actually want to play them. But
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna see a big change over the next like decade. I'm pretty sure. This is when we're gonna start seeing it like crazy. Like yeah, Steam is filling up with a lot of like crazy games and stuff like this, but at the same time, they are filling up with like good indie games as well. And just so long as that process isn't interrupted and we have a way of finding and separating out the good games from the bad games, it's like, yeah, we're gonna be able to do that at some point. So we'll see where this takes us.
Moving on. So, Balatro creator fires back at YouTube for age restricting videos of the game. And I can understand why. I have my views about Balatro. I think that, oh, they're playing cards and it's a little fantasy game. Like, it's like they use, like, what do you call normal cards that you use in gambling?
Playing cards?
Playing cards, yeah. So
Yeah,
they take playing
just playing
cards
cards.
and then they add like these special magic cards, let's say, that like boosts your points or whatever. I don't know. I haven't played the game. But I had misgivings about the game originally because apparently the game is so good, it's addicting, and I was like, doesn't it? And I was like, they're using playing cards. It's almost similar to gambling, but it's not because you're not actually putting down any money for it. But the game was also very addicting. So I was like, ugh, I don't know about this. And so YouTube age restricting the videos, is that a little hypocritical, honestly, for YouTube to do that? Because
It's
they
I
have a
think
lot
I'm
of
I'm
18 plus
I'm gonna
content on their platform that they don't age restrict.
it's a question of what gets caught by the algorithm, because they don't
Right.
they don't they don't employ, like, they most certainly don't have a team of their own people doing it. They outsource this to other people. And so the person who I'm going to take a wild guess here. I'm going to say that the most likely by far, I'd say, like, near 100% certainty, it was somebody who doesn't speak English, who got a complaint or a report or some kind of like automated flagging system saying this product, this thing, Balatro, they don't know what it is, they don't understand it at all they see is cards going up on the screen. Well, cards going up on the screen means gambling, because that's what they were told in their non-English, very cut down, probably less than 15-minute highlight or
Ooh.
training on it. And then they just banned it. And then and again, to save face, and we know that YouTube has done this in the past, to save face. And because what they so YouTube gets a bunch of complaints, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get a lot of complaints about people categorizing their content. So it doesn't hurt. It hurts them when they go, "Oh, guys, yeah, we have we have an error ratio of 55%. 55% of videos that should be age restricted are not being age restricted, and 55% of videos that shouldn't be age restricted are getting age restricted." And if you come out and you say that, hey, yeah, we mess up more than we actually succeed at what we're trying to do, then that would hurt the company's perception and their reputation, and it would showcase that they don't know what they're doing, and it would cause a whole bunch of problems. So instead, what they do is they go, no, 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 no. Agree with the false corrections like 30% of the time, like 50% of the time. So now you take that error ratio from 55%, let's just say it was 60% for ease of, calculation. Now you drop it to 30%. Boom, problem solved. Now you're in the clear. You're no longer making the mistake more often than you're getting it right because you're agreeing with the fake, fraudulent, false things. And you can make up whatever reason you want to go, oh yeah, no, see that's because of the gambling mechanics. It looks like gambling enough that we can say that it's gambling, and that's the problem. And and again, it's like they get a pat on the back. They go, oh, congratulations, you got this stuff right. Oh, look at your numbers go up. Numbers go up, guys. Numbers go up. Everything is better now. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. That's why they're making these kinds of mistakes, because that's just the process in which they fall into.
Now,
So yeah.
I was a little interested because it says that in the article, it says that Balatro claps back at YouTube, and I was like, ooh, what did they say? And it's pretty interesting. It's pretty good. Okay. The Local Thunk, which is I think the studio that made the Local Thunk, was successful in an appeal to Peggy to get Balatro's age rating reduced from 18 to 12. Personally, I don't like that, but that's just me. I think that it should not be available to people younger than 12, but what do I know? I haven't played the game. On social media, Local Thunk clapped back at YouTube for putting age restrictions on Balatro content. Quote, apparently Balatro videos are being rated 18 plus on YouTube now for gambling. Good thing we are protecting children from knowing what a four of a kind is and letting them watch CS case opening videos instead. And for those of you who don't know, what he just referenced, or what they just referenced, was they're talking about news reports of heinous crimes being number one trending on YouTube. It's not number one trending, but usually you have like a whole, on your For You page, you have this whole section dedicated to horrible, horrendous things that happen in the news, like straight up in your face. You don't even have to be actively looking for that stuff. It is just on your page. It is something that YouTube wants you to look at. So I think that was a pretty good clapback, because YouTube is pretty hypocritical when it comes to what is considered okay and what is not considered okay. The comments came after this video was posted online by Balatro University. This video is age restricted. In a recent change to the site's terms of service, YouTube tweaked the rules for creators, stressing that depictions or promotions of online casino sites of apps are now subject to age restrictions. Balatro is based entirely around building decks of cards and earning chips to defeat your opponents, but the act of chasing down poker hands is as close as it gets to gambling. It's a connection, but a minute one that even Peggy was able to overlook. I don't know. I don't like the mechanics because it feels like it's too much similar to the gambling mechanics of microtransactions. And everyone's like, oh, microtransactions aren't gambling, yet it's highly addictive and very accessible to children, yet Balatro somehow is not that. Okay, sure.
Well, and that's what triggered the takedown. Like, guarantee you.
And then it's like, okay, if they're taking it down from Balatro, then what about microtransactions in games? What if the streamer or
what about all the other stuff? Yeah, exactly.
See, it just brings up questions now.
Because they're not targeting the things that are actually important. They're targeting the things that are like easy for them to cover. It's easy to block Balatro because it's got a very easy searchable thing. Whereas somebody posting it, in different places under different names, under different tags, like you're not going to see that nearly as much as you're going to in other in Balatro. Balatro is easy to find, but you can because you're making it easy to find. Whereas some of the gambling stuff that they put out there, it's not made easy to find. It's made difficult to find. And you're like, well, how does that that doesn't seem to make any sense. But the answer to that is that no, well, that's what they do to, get people caught in. There's a whole system and it's very complex way to scam people. And it's like the people who call you, the Nigerian prince, right? It's like, hello, I'm a Nigerian prince. I need your help. I'm going to send you $5 million. And all you have to do is pay the bank transfer fee, which is $5,000. But then you're going to get $5 million, and then we're going to split it without having to pay taxes. And the email is rife with spelling errors because they're not looking to catch the intelligent people. They're looking to catch the dumbest people on the planet. I saw this recently. It was a YouTube short of a lady who was who had was in at a, and thank goodness for the lady who called it in. So the lady at the convenience store called the police and they were like, "Hey, there's a lady who's shoveling, tens of thousands of dollars into this Bitcoin machine." And she calls the cop comes out, he's like, "Hey, and she's like, "I have to get this money in, I have to get this money in." And he's like, why are you doing this? The bank is telling me that I have to put this I have to send them a Bitcoin, and so I have to buy a Bitcoin, which is a lot of money, right? Like it's like tens of thousands of dollars, a whole Bitcoin. And so the guy takes her phone and is like, "Who is this?" And he goes, "Yeah, this is bank security." And he's like, "Ah, what's your company name?" "Bank Security." It's like, "Your
Uh,
name is Bank Security?" He's like, "Yes, please put the other lady back on. She has to finish the transaction." And it's like, and they saved her from getting scammed out of tens and tens of thousands of dollars. And yeah, and why do they make, like, I get these scam calls every once in a while. It's like, "Hello, this is the I got called by the by a certain red flagged country embassy the other day." And they start talking to me in their native language, and I just like keep holding on and going, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And they just kind of waste their time until the guy comes on and he's like, "You have to pay money to us, like otherwise your visa is going to get canceled, and you're going to be held for questioning." And I'm like, "And who are you?" And he's like, "We're the blankety blank consulate." And I'm like, "Embassy, not consulate, embassy." And I'm
mm,
like, "No, you're not." And then I threatened him, and he's like, "How dare you threaten me?" And I'm like, "Ha, try to do something about it, jackass." And then he hung up because, of course, it wasn't. It was a scammer in a completely different country that's never going to be able to do anything, and that's just, that's the way these things are. That's the way these scams are designed. Right now, you have a large group of the big, big mega, corporation platform slash, publisher slash video game companies who are scamming the players. You've got other big corporations like YouTube that are essentially like, they're just catching the obvious crimes. They're not really worried about the small stuff. It's like every time we hear about like how much like certain very very illegal materials are floating around online on very public places like Blue Sky, right? And formerly Twitter. It was a really bad problem on Twitter a long time ago, and then somebody bought it and literally crushed it overnight. And then once that stuff was gone, it just suddenly reappeared over on Blue Sky because that's how these scammers, these evil people work, right? It's like they're going for the most obvious, easy to access thing, and then the government's just kind of sitting there twiddling its thumbs, going, "Well, do we have to do our job?" Because it turns out as we've discovered, half the government agencies that are responsible for putting a stop to this kind of stuff, they're not even doing their job. Like they're just like they're collecting a paycheck, and they're like they don't even show up in the office. They're just on Miami Beach, like hanging out, drinking all day long, and they've been doing that for like 2 decades. It's like, yeah, I don't show up to work. I don't do any work at all. It's disgusting. It happens a lot. You encounter it a lot when it comes to like some government stuff, and hopefully that's going to be put to a stop now. But
I
yeah,
mean,
it's just dumb and stupid.
as far as when it comes to microtransactions in Europe, they're actually trying to pass a law bill.
Yeah, they're getting there. Yeah, they're getting
Yeah.
there.
So I can only it's gonna be a while till it comes to America, but yeah, like there are things happening being put into place where it's not gonna be so much of a thing anymore. But you have to just wait and see, honestly. Uh, so I was like looking through the list, and I actually remembered. Sorry, through the notes of like the news of the week and stuff. And I just
Mhm.
remembered the even more of the Nintendo stuff. So it has to be in order to play any of the games, even if you have the little chips of the Switch game, you have to constantly be on the internet in order to have access to any of the games. Because it gets worse, guys. It gets worse.
Always online.
Yep,
I remember
always
when this was
online
such a
service.
big deal with the not the last Xbox, but the one before that one. Oh my goodness, the absolute stupidity of these companies. Like, yes, it's a little bit easier these days, but again, the like it's just I mean, it's just stupid. Like it literally is just stupid. At and I'm convinced that there's going to be an event at some point, probably a solar storm, that's going to knock out our internet to the vast majority of the world for like a couple of months. And when that happens, you know, and it takes a long time for them to get that system back online. First of all, there's going to be crazy amounts of chaos. Um, and if it's a light issue and it only knocks out like internet communications, most satellites, but everything else is largely untouched. We still have power, that kind of stuff. It's like I think we're gonna see that this is never like we're never gonna go back to this stupid moronic idea of everything being online. It's just it is one of the dumbest things in the planet. Like do you realize how stupid you are to put everything online? Oh, so yeah, that's going to be hilarious when that hits the fan. It's going to be all kinds of stupid, crazy fun, and companies like Nintendo that do this, where they force everything to be online. They're going to be remembered as like the company to never put your trust in. Period. And they're going to have like a very hard time trying to claw that back. Um,
It's already
again,
happened.
again, not saying that this is a guarantee to be what's going to happen, but it's like
I mean,
I
they're
would never do this.
they're alienating most people. Like they have a
Hmm.
dedicated a couple million of fan bases, but they want the big, let's be honest here. They want the big numbers. They want not just the fan base, they want everybody to pay for their games. The problem is they're pushing everybody. They're pushing that everybody away with raising these ridiculous prices. So they're only getting the fan base, which is about a couple million of people. It's not the big number that they're looking for. Let's be perfectly honest here. So they're going to be disappointed and they're going to be upset that they're hoping for 20 million but they're only getting like 3 or 4 million, and they're like, we're not making the numbers that we were expecting. And it's like, well, what did you expect? Of course no one's going to want to pay for your games that are overpriced, cuz I'm just bringing up old things again, but no one's making enough to afford this stuff.
Hmm.
Literally, I have to wait years in advance to buy games. I have to wait years in advance. If I ever want to, sometimes I don't even play the games because they're so high priced that I'm like, I'd rather pay for an indie game because they're cheaper. Like some of the games I have, like was it Ghost of Tsushima? I haven't gotten that game yet. some of the games I do have in my library, they were like gifted to me from friends. Like some of this, like they're either indie games, I paid for, was it games when they were affordable back then a couple years ago that I bought, and then they're gifted. Like those are the only types of games I have. It's and I have to be very selective with what games I want to play. And honestly, most of the time it's just indie games because they're affordable. And sometimes I hit the jackpot and I find really good, a diamond in the rough kind of game. So it's like, why would I take the risk where I'm going to mostly not enjoy what's going to happen? Don't get me wrong, there are good games out there that are by AAA companies. Nintendo has this nasty habit of repackaging the same game and then selling it to you at a higher price. They did it for, I believe, Breath of the Wild. Like, Breath of the Wild was like $70, but then they raised it to $80. And they're like, oh, did you know that the older games that were for the Switch 1, you can play them on the Switch 2, you just gotta pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to use your Switch 2? You have to be on a subscription service in order to have access to the Switch 2. Hey,
long-time listeners will remember 100% that I have said this to death, and that is that, you know what? If Nintendo would just release their older game content on actual current day computers, cell phones, like, just take your pick. You got thousands of games and back catalogs that people want to play, but you don't let us play it. Why? Just why?
Because they're greedy.
It doesn't make any sense.
They don't.
You greedy, stupid.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What else are they overcharging for? Oh, there's a tutorial that comes on the Switch and it shows you how to use the Switch, but you gotta pay for it. It's not even freaking free. Do you know what's even more messed up? They had this for the Wii. Where they had a tutorial. It was free. You didn't even have to freaking pay for it. It was just there for you to learn how to use the system. But no, for the Switch 2, if you want to learn how to use the system, you have to pay $6 for a demo tutorial, and it just tells you how to... when you buy something, it usually has like that paper that tells you how to use it. It just comes for free. It's just on a piece of paper that tells you how to use it, and it's free because you already spend like $20 to $30 buying some kind of electronic gadget, and then they give you just this little slip of paper showing you how to use it because it's free. Because you already bought the thing. It's kind of like manners to give you the directions for free. Like, should we pay to be even looking at the menu when we go to restaurants? Should we? Well, never mind.
I guarantee you there's somebody out there who's like, why, yes, of course I should charge people for looking at the menu for my fantastic restaurant. It's like,
Jeez. It's
I just envision the Cartman thing again.
It just goes beyond just raising the prices of the hardware. It goes beyond that. They've micro-managed the prices into everything so that it is legit unaffordable. Like for real, it's like unaffordable. Yes, I harp about them raising prices, but with Nintendo, it's worse because they want you to pay for every little thing that is on the Switch 2. And it's like, then might as well just buy a Steam Deck. Might as well just stay on Steam. Why? Like, Steam has discounts, like legit discounts, not the fake faux inflation discounts. No, they have legit sales where things are like almost 50 to 60% off. Like, they are actually affordable. I'm sorry, Nintendo. I do used to love playing your games back in Nintendo 64 times, but I'm gonna stick with PC because I'm gonna stick with Valve Steam because they've been good to me for the last couple of years, more so than other fucking companies out there. So it's like I and that's what they're doing. That's what these companies are doing. They're just pushing them into the arms of people who will treat them better. Guys, we can get into healthy relationships. We don't have to keep doing this. We don't have to be in these abusive relationships with AAA companies. We can literally have healthy relationships with Steam. Steam actually cares about us, guys. Steam takes care of us, alright? They literally implemented rules that protect consumers because AAA companies have gone so far off the rails that Valve has to put their foot down and say, you cannot sell your game on our platform if you do not abide by customers' rights. Which is such a weird thing to even fucking happen because it's like, well, no, duh, customers have rights, but the gaming companies are like, no, you guys, we're gonna do whatever we want, and you guys are just gonna sit there and take it because we have your entertainment IP, and we're like, no, AAA, what they assume we're gonna be like, they think that we're gonna be like, no, AAA companies, give us our IP, we love it so much, and it's like, it's not even the same. The IP isn't the same as it was 5 years ago. Like it's just live service dookie, you know? It's like a broken mess. They make it a grind fest to upgrade anything because they're like, oh, is it such a burden to spend hours upon hours grinding to upgrade your character?
Introducing the problem so they can sell you the solution.
Looky here, you can get the upgraded points. You can easily get those upgraded points. It's just $10. Give us $10. You can easily upgrade your character from level 1 to level 2. Gee, thanks AAA company. I really appreciate this dog dookie. Like for real. Like I wish I wasn't exaggerating, but that is legit what is happening right now and I can't stand it cuz every time I think it might be getting better, it gets worse. It gets worse. And I'm like, can we please, where's Exodus? I need Exodus to come out right now because I can't stand this anymore. I need some type of palate cleanser. I need Exodus to come out. Please, Archetype Entertainment.
If it's actually good.
No, I refuse. No, you can't tell me that one person is involved in the creation of Exodus. No, you can't. Don't ruin this for me. No. Hopefully not. I really look. It was annoying to find out that the destroyer of Dragon Age is also now involved in the creation of Exodus by, well, I wouldn't say no, they're involved with Skeleton Key. They're involved with Skeleton Key. But apparently they're also helping with the making of Exodus, which is a Mass Effect. It's a Mass Effect. What do you call it? It's a Mass Effect. It's not a Legacy. No, what is it? What is it called? A Mass Effect tribute? Is it tribute to Mass Effect? Spiritual successor. That's what it is. God, that takes way too long for me to get. It's a spiritual successor to Mass Effect because it has the original Mass Effect creators behind the project. But unfortunately, it's all under Wizards of the Coast, and Wizards of the Coast hired the person who made Dragon Age the Veilguard, ruining my favorite series of all time, Dragon Age. We'll never forgive them for this. And apparently they're also getting involved in the creation of Exodus, and I'm praying to God that nothing happens with that, because from what I understand, they said that the creators behind Mass Effect had like full control over what goes on with the game. So, or they had full creative control. So, hopefully, it holds up against the destroyer of Dragon Age. Because I already forgot her name. I forgot her name. I don't know what her name is. I did know her name from my hatred of her destroying my favorite franchise, but now I forgot it. I don't know what it is. But yeah. So I don't know. Did you want to talk about the four-legged robot thingy? Did you want?
Which one? We're headed towards a total dystopian future. um, so I forget which company was it. There's a company who came up with a design. They've announced, because this was a little tricky. They announced, it was Kawasaki. That's right. Kawasaki announced that they showcased an announcement that they're designing or intending to design a four-legged hydrogen powered horse robot who will take you all over the place. It looks badass. It really does. Like, it legitimately looks absolutely like cool, but it does not exist at all. Like, they don't they as far as I understand, they do not even have a working prototype for it. They just announced that they want to work on it, and they're drumming up to see if people would actually be interested in the product. And this means that you could go like, so that, like, people ask, like, well, what's the difference between this and an off-road motorbike? And it's the answer to that is pretty substantial. You can go almost anywhere on that, except for like really deep water. I don't know, maybe they might put some flotation devices on it, and then you could go through water completely too. So just like in a lot of cases, a lot of horses can do that too. So yeah, interesting, very interesting concept. It was kind of cool. I just mostly posted it there because it sounded really awesome, and a bunch of people were like, "Yes, give this to me right now, please and thank you." So yeah, yeah.
Uh, so PlayStation dumped Sweet Baby Inc. in a DEI purge, apparently. So I've heard some weird things about the whole DEI programs thing. I've heard that their companies are focused on getting rid of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I've heard that companies have been focused on getting rid of those kind of programs. I've also heard that they're not actually going to get rid of the programs. They're just going to be more quiet about having the programs be implemented in their
Yeah,
companies and
they're
rebranding
renaming
it.
some of
They're
them. Yeah, rebranding it, that kind of stuff.
to trick people and stuff like that. I forgot what it's called. It's not
Mhm.
bricks. It's something else. Bridge. I can't remember. Gosh darn it.
I've heard half a dozen different names for it, and I think that's intentional. They're
Yeah, they're
not
trying to
gonna
confuse
announce
people.
that they're rebranding every single department to this. And again, when it comes to games and DEI and stuff like that, like, as far as like the publicly front side, it's like just like the characters in the games. It's just give us the ability to make our own characters. You would you would avoid 90% of these problems, un and
I
there
mean,
are a lot of people who go,
that's
that's
not,
not real.
it's not real.
That's
I
not
wouldn't say it's
really
not realistic.
increasing.
I'm not saying that's not realistic. Like having the power to make your own characters in games is, I'm biased. I love RPGs. I like making my own characters. So I would be for that. I wouldn't think that that would be an issue. The issue is that we've already seen that games having character creation doesn't really fix anything when you have Veilguard. When
When
you
you have,
have Dragon
yeah,
Age
well,
the
when you have,
Veilguard, where the
yeah,
writing is so horrendous. And Avowed, the writing is so bad that it's boring. Like, it's not even interesting. It's just boring. And it's like, okay, you had access to create your own characters, but then it's like, it doesn't stop the game from being bad, is what I'm trying to say.
well, yeah, that's so again, it's a multi-level problem. And people are like, well, we're trying to like allow people to get into the industry that wouldn't normally get into the industry. And for that I call total BS on that, because I never knew I've worked with a lot of video game companies. I've worked with a lot of people on pretty much every continent there is. I've talked with a lot of people. I there's just, like, you go back 20 years, who was making video games? The really nerdy people. You know who's still making the video games today? Really nerdy people. They're not exactly like, they're kind of desperate for, like, human interaction for the most part. They'll take anybody they can. This whole thing was drummed up, and I really do feel that it's a fake. Like, we've seen this. We've seen the evidence that a lot of these complaints, a lot of these things were faked because people found out that they could make money off of it. And there are certain individuals who made a lot of money off of this, left a lot of people high and dry, and then are laughing about it with their friends, going, "Can you believe how easy it was to make all this money off of all these suckers and saps and all this kind of stuff?" And again, this isn't like, this is not me saying this without evidence. It's like, these people posted this on their own channels. Like, go to your department and threaten them. Make them understand what a nightmare this is going to be if you don't do the things that we want you to do. It's like, what do you want to do? We want to discriminate against people. It's like, okay, well, how about not? Like, can we not discriminate against people? It's like, but how will we make money? Because that, again, that's really what it boiled down to. It's like this Sweet Baby thing. It was all about making the most amount of money that they could, selling in selling inferior skills, selling people with inferior skills than what you could find by just going onto any LinkedIn profile of somebody looking for a job that's in that industry and hiring them. Why is that the case? Because the people who were pushing themselves onto other people saying, "You better hire us or else," those people didn't actually have any skills aside from threatening people. It's sort of like the mob. The mob doesn't actually have any skills. That's why they go to the people and say, "Hey, it's a nice little shop you got here. It'd be a shame if something bad happened in here. Now give us protection money." It's like, do you think those people actually show up to protect you? If you've got a problem, you got a burst water faucet, you got any, like, you got a bunch of, like, thieves coming in and stealing. Do you think they're going to come down and protect you? They're going to come down and fix your problem? No, it's a scam. It's the whole reason for it. Otherwise, they just call it, like, the such and such defense, or community defense league or something like that. You know, so this kind of stuff, it's a scam. It's always been a scam. It has always been a scam. They are not interested in playing fair. They're only interested in scamming those who they can, for as much money as they can, for as long as they can. They're not actually interested in fixing anybody's problem. And so that's what we're seeing with this. And again, it's like some of the CEOs, some of the people in the upper echelons of these companies have finally figured that out, and that's why they're dumping them in more of a public setting. But in a lot of cases, what we're seeing studios that where these people have gotten so powerful that not even the CEO has the guts to challenge them. And again, and I use this example all the time. Who was the last Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher in the school before, in Hogwarts, before Snape got the role finally? Crap, I'm drawing a blank. The lady in pink, whatever her name was, Humbridge. There we go.
Oh.
So Humbridge, that's what the majority of the DEI people are. Is they're just Humbridge sitting there going, "You are going to do what I tell you to because I'm smarter than you. I can tell you how to think." And it's like, "Oh, you're crazy. Okay, right. Okay, well, let's not let's not encourage that kind of behavior, shall we? That's kind of madness. That's multiple levels of madness. Let's not do that. That's not good. That's not healthy."
It also reminds me of that statistic that came out recently where it showed that DEI doesn't help anybody. It only helps white women, which is, let's be honest here, all Karens. So It doesn't help minorities or anything. It only helps white women. Isn't that something? Isn't that great? Uh it's it's just so ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys. We literally let we literally let the annoying was it what are those parents that are involved with the school? I forgot what it's called. It's not a parent teacher. God damn it. I forgot what the was it. Not student council. Faculty? No, not faculty.
I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, you left? Hi. I was just saying that like only old white women are
Yeah, yeah.
benefited from DEI and not even
So
minorities. And I was like, it sounds like
there was a
the PEA, like what do you call it when parents are involved in schools? It's like a
the
whole
PTA,
yeah the
something like that.
yeah the PTA, nothing but old white women who scoff and scold kids, like the annoying moms, you know. That's what it reminds me of. That's
The
what's in
Karens.
yeah, that's what's in video games nowadays, guys. That's what's in video games. Nothing
Now,
but
yeah. So I read the study, and it was like, so the study was like, basically we looked at like the vast majority. We're talking like high 80 percentile of DI initiatives in companies, specifically in the states. I think so. I don't know the details or the data around Canada, but in the states it was like the majority of it, like you look at the stats of like percentage of, the percentage of people hired before and after, and it's all about the same. And the pay increases, again, all about the same, or in some cases a lot lower. And meanwhile, all the Karens running the programs were making more money, and there was more of them. So it's like, who did this? Who profited off of this? Like, who made the most money off of this? Right. The people who had, like, the people who put it into action. That's who made the most money off of this. Oh my goodness. It's almost as if it was never about the, making things fair for, minorities or special needs people or anything like that. It's almost as if it was all about just keeping them, employed and finding, like finding something to keep them going, right? Um, and that's a big problem. Obviously, that's a massive, like that's a massive problem, because there are some people who are trying to do, the good things, and those weren't the people who were getting that stuff done. The whole thing was just a very large scam, essentially, you can say. So yeah, very not good. And again, I won't say the whole thing. I'd say the majority of the stuff, again, in the states, because that's where I think you have the um
more
I think
prominent.
that's where the problem was. Yeah, that's where the problem was the worst. um I wouldn't be surprised if it had better success outside of the states, in various places where there might be a little bit of like some kind of like institutionalized or crystallized form of, like, trying to help people genuinely. But again, I can't comment on that, because there's very little stats out about it in other places, again, like Canada, for example. It's like there's just not enough information on it. But it is very, very like, it is genuinely extremely disturbing to see what we have seen, is that in the states, under the system where there's actually some counting, it's like, yeah, this has been used against people for the benefit of other people, not the people who were needing or asking for the help. In a lot of cases, that stuff went down. And I did have a bad experience with that, twice, when I was younger, where it was like somebody's like, "Oh yeah, we're here to help you," and then turns out it was like, "No, no, no." They were literally like, they're literally like running their own like little scheme behind things and doing all that kind of stuff. So I'm a little bit more sensitive to that stuff than other people are. And again, this coming from the person who has an actual registered, certified, diagnosed, government recognized disability. So yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Karens, apparently there was a new study that's gaining traction because we already talked about this before, but I feel like it's gaining traction now that it has been statistically proven that women prefer to play smexy women in video games. Oh my god, who could have foreseen that women who are
Shocker.
very, very aesthetically oriented would prefer to play aesthetically pleasing women in video games? Wow, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Like we didn't see that coming at all. I like when this all started going, oh yeah, women want to play things that aren't super sexualized. It's like I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm sure there are some women out there who prefer to do that, but that's not the majority of women playing video games. I have been playing MMOs since as long as they've existed, and I can tell you that pretty, sexy, hot looking things are the most coveted thing, especially by women players. They love looking pretty and they love looking hot.
Yep.
Shocker. Just absolute shocker that this is a thing. And I'm glad that the study has finally come out and confirmed this, because this is like, hey, yo, this has always been like this. Like this has always been like this. There was never a time when this wasn't a thing. Like, oh my goodness gracious me. This is absolutely hilarious. So yeah, this is not a big shock to anybody who knows who's ever met or spent any time with a woman ever before.
Yeah, it's just yeah, I it just goes to show that like it reminds me of that article that came out recently about them talking about Johnny Storm. You know Johnny Storm from the DC comics, the Human Torch for the Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four, I'm
The
pretty
flame
sure,
dude?
isn't that Marvel?
Marvel? Did I say DC? Sorry, my bad. I get them
Yeah, you
mixed up.
said DC,
I
and
get them
I'm like,
I
I
get
don't.
them mixed
I'm
up
pretty sure the
sometimes.
I'm
I
pretty
get
sure the Fantastic
yeah,
Four is not chilling with Batman and Superman.
I get them
There's
mixed
something wrong
up.
with that.
I get them mixed up. They're like the top comics industry, and it's like
Right.
uh, I get them mixed up. I'm sorry, but anyways, Marvel, they're coming out with a new movie, The Fantastics. I forgot what the movie's called.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
they're coming out with a new Fantastic Four movie, and the actor who's playing the new Johnny Storm, you remember the original Fantastic Four where it had
Yeah, it was the same guy who plays Captain America. Yep.
Captain
Yep.
America, America's
Yep.
anyways, uh, the guy who played Captain America, he played Johnny Storm in that movie, and he was attractive. Oh God, he was so hot. He was so handsome, and his main
Really? I did not notice
you
that
have
at
to
all.
understand. You have to understand. The guy who's hot in the comics was played by a hot actor, and he was hot. You gotta, you gotta understand that. And in the original movie, the first movie of the Fantastic Four, because there's been like 3 iterations by now of Fantastic Four, but the original movies that came out, Johnny Storm, as portrayed in the comics, is this suave, sexy man who's just a womanizer, and then he's like happy-go-lucky. He only cares about himself and stuff like that. Like he's just like a player, And then And then the actor of the newer Fantastic Four movie, the actor said he's portraying Johnny, and he said they're focusing on not making Johnny a player. And he's like, are women even attracted to that anymore? And I'm like, women are attracted to that. They will tell you they're not attracted to that, but they are. They are attracted to that. They like the douches. They like the a-holes, all right? They like the bad boys. Like, there's a reason why bad boys are so prominent in like, was it in media and stuff, is because women are attracted to them. Johnny was kind of like that kind, I wouldn't say he's like the bad boy, but he was like that, was it, he a heartbreaker, you know? Women are attracted to that. And he's hot. So yeah, of course people are going to be attracted to that. And we need to stop lying to ourselves. We need to stop lying to ourselves and pretend that women don't find that hot. Because let's be honest, I found that hot. So it's like, women do find that hot. And women do find attractive women hot. They find attractive women hot. Like, let's not lie to ourselves here. Why are we lying to ourselves? We're just hurting ourselves by lying to ourselves. All right. The truth is that a lot of things that they say we shouldn't like, we do like. And the more you say we don't like it, we end up liking it more because of that forbiddenness, you know? It's like, no, you shouldn't like it. But then I kind of do, because it's like, I shouldn't, but I do. You know, it's that stupid, it's that thing that ladies do. Anyways, not to stereotype or anything. I don't know if I'm digging myself a hole or not for saying that. But, like, yeah, it's ridiculous. We're like trying to.
I will not, what is it? You not concede, defer. I will defer to your expert opinion in the matter. You are a professional in this matter. I am only an observer.
I've seen women so many times. They're like doing the same traditional things in the modern times that we did back in the day that modern day says we shouldn't. If that makes sense. I don't know if that's confusing. Like, they're like, no, you shouldn't go for that bad boy. You should go for the guy who respects women. But then now, current day, women still go for the guy who is disrespectful towards women because they find that hot. They find that hot. And it's just, this is a totally different topic, but it's just, I feel like we're just like trying to convince ourselves of something that isn't true, and it's a little ridiculous. The first was it step to admitting that there's a problem is to admit you have a problem. Admit that you are attracted to bad boys, and then maybe you can see, like, why am I attracted to bad boys? Oh, because of things that happened in my past. Oh, maybe I should fix that. Then you can go up to, like, fixing and actually going towards a guy who actually respects you. Like, not fake respect you, because there are guys who are like, I love women, we respect all women, but then they're actually douches. Like legit is an actual person and actually sees you as a person and respects you. And it's like, you know, I feel like we're getting totally off topic with what we were originally talking about, but yeah, I don't.
It tracks. It works. And I've known a lot of women who have, you know, they've gone through life, they've realized things, they're working on themselves, they're bettering themselves, and they'll say the same thing. It comes down to recognizing and working towards an actual solution, instead of like just pretending that there's not actually a problem when there is a problem.
Yeah, and then they're like, why am I not satisfied in this relationship with a man who respects me? Is because you probably have unhealthy habits that you haven't confronted yet. Maybe if you confront them, maybe you can take those steps into a more of a healthy relationship. And then, yeah, it's just a thing. Anyways, yeah, I feel like we're playing games with ourselves when it comes to what is attractive and what is not attractive. I feel like if we're more honest with how we feel and not what society says we should feel, then we would actually hit the nail on the head and figure out a solution to that. Not everyone's the same, everyone's different. Don't get me wrong. Some people have preferences more than others. But it's like, some people actually have like, was it yeah, yeah, some people have more preferences than others have actual issues that need to be addressed, but they haven't addressed it. And I feel like if we actually, we're more honest, we fix it. I'm just going around in circles, but yeah, I feel like we're just all lying to ourselves. uh like women liking pretty things, that's kind of a given. Ooh, such a shock that women like pretty things. Like, don't get me wrong, you have goth chicks who like, the darker stuff, but at least it's still aesthetically pretty. Like, my sister's into goth things and she likes pretty goth stuff, so it's like, it's like, even though it's different, it's still the same. They still like things that are aesthetically pleasing to them. So it's like, no duh. No duh. When it comes to games, of course you're gonna want to play characters you find attractive. And then you have like, was it what's that one game called that did horrible? I legit forgot its name. It cost 400 million to make.
Concord.
Concord, yeah.
Yeah, that
Concord.
sounds about right.
You got poopy character design with Concord. No one's attractive at all. And they're like, oh, it's their stylistic choice. It is so bad that even people in marketing design said it was bad. The fashion was horrible. The people were not attracted, like aesthetically pleasing at all. Even the furry design, there was a furry in there, guys. Even the furry design for the chick furry cat lady thing wasn't even attractive. It threw me off. Not that I'm saying I'm into furries, but I'm just saying it threw me off, alright? And I was like, is this supposed to be attractive? Like, I was like, what the heck is this? I literally saw her and I was like, what is that? And then they did the same with Avowed. They have these weird there's these weird furry things with the same character design that they had in Concord, but with this like weird, like, they have like giant furry ears, and then they're like, they look human, but they have animal fur, and I'm like, what is this design? This is not attractive at all. Is this supposed to be attractive? Like, I don't understand why they think this is what people want. It's not what they want. Not that I'm a furry and I would know these things. I'm just saying, like, aesthetically pleasing wise, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And I was like, and I will say, for Avowed's sake, the companion dude, I forgot his name, I think it's Kai. The companion dude who has like fish scales, like the mermaid, I don't know what race he was, like a mermaid looking dude as your companion. He was like the only attractive mer person you find. All the others are freaking butt ugly. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I don't know what is going on with character designs, but they're like, we can't make them attractive at all. I feel like most character designs nowadays, they're like, we need to not make these characters attractive, but they're romanceable.
So there's a big push. There's a big attack on beautiful things, like on beauty itself. I would say there's an attack. I would say there's a full-on assault on beauty in general, just beauty. And I would say, hands down, 100%, there is a full-on attack on. I don't know if I can say the word on YouTube. The you remember watching the wacky tunes, right? Like, the cartoons, like
yeah,
the Toonyville. Yeah, just put a G in front of tunes instead of the T.
Oh,
those guys,
I
those
don't
people.
think, has YouTube caught on to that?
There's a big attack on that premise or thought whenever it's done in a way that the attacker, the person who is attacking it, views that as an unacceptable thing. And so this goes both ways on the political spectrum and everything in between. People are using it to bash other people over the head, going, you're disgusting because you're attracted to something that I am not personally attracted to. But then they go like to, they're that times 10 on the thing that they're attracted to.
Yeah,
right?
they're like, I can't believe you're attracted to Emma Frost. It sexualizes women, degrading women.
Yes.
How
And
can
then
you do that? And
you
then you look
click
on
on
there,
that person's profile and they've got like these some
furry
most of the time it's
prawn.
like furry. Yeah, exactly. You know it because you've seen it.
Yeah,
You've got this like extreme furry
Degra- degrad
fetishistic stuff like just
degradation
like
going on.
everywhere. And then you click on somebody else who's like, you guys shouldn't like anime characters because they look like their children. And then you click on their page and it's just it's some other like major kink that's just everywhere on their likes and their history. They're on 3 different forum sites and Reddit threads about it. It's like not just on, they're like moderators for, right?
Yeah,
It's like that kind of stuff. That's this random like assaulting on something that other people find as either beautiful or as like you know something that they like or that they're interested in, stuff like that. It's like, again, I totally get that some people don't like the sexualization of, but when you have an extreme sexualization of something, it means that your society is having like internal problems with either suppression or like repression or overexpression, and those things will bounce back and forth to extreme ends. And again, case example study, Japan for the last 80 years. I mean, come on. No,
yeah,
more than that. It's like the past like 500 years. Jeez Louise, yeah.
yeah. And
It's
people
like that is a perfect
and
case study, and yeah.
actually,
Sorry, go ahead.
recently, Kiryu posted an article talking about how people want Karens want streaming services to not cater to fan service anime because it's just soft core stuff, corn, and I'm
Hmm.
like, you do realize the reason, and you said it earlier. I think someone said it. They're like, the reason why anime is so weird in the Livesey said it. Livesey's like, you do realize the reason why anime is so weird in the first place is because of censorship?
It's
Like,
censorship, and it is there's such a
repressing.
repressed,
Mm-hmm.
sexually repressed people in a lot of ways, that when you put a lid on a pot that's boiling, it doesn't matter how much you try and sit on it, eventually it's going to explode. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how much you try and like lock it under. If you crank the heat up too much, if you don't if you don't have an emergency pressure release valve, it's just going to explode and then it's going to be everywhere. That's exactly what happens. And again, some people, they don't realize how much this is ingrained in humanity as a whole. Like this is etched into our very beings. This is something that you have to allow for in a proper way. Otherwise, you will just drive people to madness. It's like locking somebody in solitary. If you put somebody in solitary for long enough, doesn't matter, who the person is, they'll eventually go mad, except for like a handful of people who are like, they're predispositioned heavily to be hermits, right?
Yeah.
But even then, it's like we need human contact. I mean, babies die without human contact. You can give them as much food and as much, nutrition and medical attention that you can, but if you don't physically hold them, if you don't physically interact with them, they suffer, and they suffer a lot. And it's not just humans; it's also like chimpanzees, apes, and a bunch of other species. It's like same problem, same thing. And you have to get over this idea, this concept that oh well, we don't need to do this because that's just being a goon turner, or without the T's.
Yeah.
Again, I have no. I'm saying that because I have no idea whether or not I can actually say that on YouTube. It's
Gooner. Oh, we got demonetized.
There's some crazy stuff that you can't say on YouTube
Yeah.
that YouTube
I've
punishes you for.
I was watching, there was one live stream that I used to watch on YouTube a lot, and they said that they noticed that YouTube doesn't demonetize them if they wait like 12 minutes before start curse blasting curse blasting the whole stream. So they wait the allotted 12 minutes of at the start of the stream, and then they start like, going off the rails. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the AI got better at clocking any certain terms or not, but I don't know. Jamuse said, "Oh, the one that hated on Invisible Woman and Smexy characters, they loved Namor, who was shirtless." Yeah. You know how they said that they shouldn't sexualize Jill? Was it Jill from Resident Evil 3? Or was it 2?
Yeah.
You know that one chick, that one character where she had a short, like, booty shorts or whatever, and they're like, oh my god, the male gaze, and so they put, like, RE3, thank you, Jamuse, Resident Evil 3, and then they update, and Resident Evil 1, okay, thank you, they updated the game, the remakes,
and Resident Evil Nemesis.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
all the games, the remakes, they updated her outfit where she had to wear a jacket over her waist so that you don't have to stare at her bootay, which I honestly don't see how that fixed anything because it just outlined her figure even more. It made her butt look a little bit bigger, so it's like, I don't know if that fixed anything, but that's just my personal opinion. These are the same people who created and screamed and cheered, I wouldn't say screamed, but they definitely cheered for the mod that makes, oh crud, what's his name? Leon Kennedy, like Naked, he is Naked. There's a mod out there that makes Leon Kennedy naked in the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Wait,
they made articles
done frequently.
Yes, actually.
In video games.
Yeah, but when it comes to
they
make naked mods for the male characters all the time to show off their hunky figures. But the moment you try doing it for women, oh, it's an issue. Oh, we have a problem now. It's a problem now. You're abusing women. Even though they're fictional characters, you're abusing them. So, okay, are you abusing Leon Kennedy? Because Leon's walking around with his slang flicking around. Like, is that abuse? Like, where? This is the hypocrisy at its finest, guys. Hypocrisy at its finest. We can't have anything. Like, it's just like they're so focused on the male gaze thing that they don't even realize that there's bisexual women out there, there's lesbian women out there, there's queer sexual women out there, who like women, like, and you're just like shafting them. Like, I don't understand that they're so focused on the men side that they neglect that there's actually women who enjoy the woman figure. And it's like, we can't, it's like what, where does it end? We don't talk about RE3 remake. Leon Kennedy has birthday suits. There's more than one type of woman on the internet. Would you please think of the children? Oh my god. Jamuse. But yeah, there's like, it's just not every woman is attracted to men. There's actually women out there who are attracted to women. Shocker, this might shock you. Yeah, just as like there's men out there who don't actually like women. Oh my god, that's a shocker. Like, sorry to burst some of your bubbles, ladies, but there's actually men out there, attractive men, who aren't interested in women. Like, it's just, it's just as I said before, it's hypocrisy at its finest, and I feel like it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Because if we keep going down this point, we'll just end up like Japan, sexually repressed, weird things coming out. That's not wrong. Like weird media being made because of repression and stuff, and yeah, I feel like yeah, I feel like that's where we might go, but I don't know. I could be wrong. There's a lot of people who push
Right.
back at. There's a lot of people. God damn it, Jimmy. There's a lot of people who push back against it. You said it, not me. You're not supposed to point it out, Jimmy. Anyways, yeah, like there's a lot of pushback against this stuff, thankfully. So hopefully we don't. I want to go back to the early 2000s where this wasn't really much of an issue. Like everyone was like, yeah, treat humans respectfully because humans are humans and treat yourself how you want to be treated, okay? And no one really cared. Uh, no one really cared. Just do you, be yourself. Like literally, it wasn't like most of the stuff wasn't even much of an issue, and then it only became when we became more hyper aware of being is when society realized, well, I wouldn't say realize, when society became too hyper aware of every little thing that could be perceived as an offense to another person. The moment that
Yeah.
that started changing society for the worst, because then we couldn't laugh at jokes, we couldn't enjoy the beauty of women anymore. It's gotten to the point we can't even enjoy. I can say this. I can enjoy. I can say I can enjoy the beautiful figure of a woman because I'm a woman, so I can say that. But when it comes to a man can't say that. A man can't admit that he finds the figure of a woman attractive. Like where it's just like the. It's just a discrimination in another form, and that's what I can't stand. And it's like where. Like just because it's flipped doesn't mean it's better, doesn't make it good. It does not make it good. It just makes it even more of a problem. But like I said, thankfully there are people who are pushing back against it. You know, Side, me, other internet people on the internet's pushing back against censorship and stuff like that and pointing out this type of hypocrisy. But yeah, it's just a weird time. We're just in a really weird time, and I just wish things wouldn't be so weird, I guess. I wish things were better, and I think things should be less weird. But yeah, we're still kind of in a wibbly wobbly state right now. We're not really.
Yeah, we're in a really weird place.
Yeah.
Like as societally, we are in such a weird place right now. You have people arguing about what kinds of like, what kinds of thirsting is okay, you know, and then they're like, and then they're like full on. They're like people are full on like, going to war over this like fanatical like, worshipers of some like weird religion or something like that.
Yeah.
They're doing this constantly, and then on top of that, you just have this weird like, it's like the desire for censorship, which I'll never understand. Like I really like I understood it at one point. I sort of got it. I understood kind of what the point of it was and that kind of stuff. But then I studied history and I went, oh, we can't just, lock everything away because that's not healthy. Like overexposure isn't healthy, but so is like non-exposure. And people are flawed and so it's a very big problem. Like on multiple levels. It's a huge problem. I don't think I have the answer to solve it though. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to solve it in my books. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Talk about like censorship and the concepts of like that kind of stuff quite a bit. Not a lot. It's not a main theme. It's like a second. You call it like a secondary theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it is so messed up in so many ways.
Jamu said, since the console wars have died down, people have to find something else to fight about. And yeah, I think he's right. I think the internet, at least when it comes to America, is just used to just argue, and that's pretty much it. We can't like have anything nice. We always have detractors who just want to start stuff. That's what it
Yeah,
feels like anyway.
the console wars really have just died, haven't they? Like it's it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the years to come, where we're going to end up as with regards to that. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Hmm. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
suspect so right now PlayStation's on they're essentially in the losing corner, not because Microsoft won by winning, but because they won by default. And somebody I know there'll be PlayStation fans. What do you mean? It's like well, right now only like why do you think
I honestly
that
think
the
PC won. I feel like PC was the
well,
only winner.
It's because PC won, right? Like that's more or less what's
PC
happened. Is
PC's
like
just been there. Well, okay, I guess PlayStation did
the
win, but honestly,
well,
PC is
so
just the winner all around.
PlayStation won the concept of whose box are you going to buy between Microsoft and PlayStation? Whose physical box is the winner of that competition? And there's a bunch of PlayStation people going, PlayStation won. And it's like, yes, okay, but Microsoft just showed off their new console, you know, concepts and options. And what's that in there? Oh, that's a tool that allows you to access and download games from the Epic Store and the Steam Store. You know, where all the PlayStation games are. It's like so you could play the PlayStation games on this new console or you can play them on the PC. Huh. I guess and trust me, it's not going to be long before all of this stuff is being run off of our phones. And you're not going to have a traditional, you know, physical PC. You know, it's just going to be like strapped to your wrist. It's going to be, you know, or your back pocket or whatever, and then you're just going to access it that way. I think that's the direction we are headed in. Um, maybe not. We'll see. I think that I don't think that console boxes are where we're headed in the future, and so in that term, like yes, we still have the you know who makes better games, who makes better products, who makes better. You know who's got a wider reach for you know such and such thing. I think also it's going to come down to who makes the better toys, like AKA controllers or controller like things. Like I'm still shocked that we didn't see like why have we never seen like I mean we do have them now, but like why did we go like 40 years between the Nintendo Super Glove and the new Nintendo Super Glove, which isn't a Nintendo Super Glove, it's just a hand glove controller thing for and tracking device for the VR, which is all on PC essentially. So yeah, super weird. Like nobody saw this coming. I sort of did, but I mean, you know, just in general, it's like most people didn't really see this coming.
I mean, I was pretty surprised, but I was like an Xbox fan, so I don't know. I was kind of surprised, but also like I kind of knew that Xbox was losing this the hardware war as it was. So I was like, I'm not surprised, but also I was surprised that they found a workaround. I thought Xbox was going to admit defeat and like just not make, you know, stuff anymore, but no, they just focus more on software. And I was like, "Hey, that's actually a pretty clever idea instead of trying
Yeah,
to stay in the race."
shocker. Uh, and again, it's not that hardware is not important. I was just saying this is like, no, I want cool hardware. Like I really do. I want really awesome, really cool hardware. But we haven't had that for so long, and it's mind-boggling. It's so crazy. But yeah, yeah. Uh,
I mean, in my opinion, I think PC is the winner all around because
again, yeah, PC is the winner all around, and I think we'll see. I think once we kind of like cap out on the actual hardware, then it will become either we're entering a space of like, full dive tech, or we're going to enter that weird space of Ready Player One with the bodysuits, the haptic controls, the haptic feedback response suits, that kind of stuff, like the full goggle, the full headset to allow for semi or partial full dive tech. Yeah, like we're getting there. We're totally getting there.
Yeah. But yeah. Uh I was gonna say good times ahead. It's just gonna take a while to get there, in my opinion. But
Yeah, especially with the indie devs and the battle that's going on there. It's like, yes, we are going to see 100%. We are going to see some significant turnaround as far as that technology and those kinds of issues go. Like, yeah, it's really gonna be like the future looks good for indie development, I think.
yeah. Uh yeah, it's definitely gonna be uh the indies who inherit everything. Cause oh, thank you for the sub, Drac. Welcome in. Wait, this isn't Marvel Rivals. Wait, what? Oh no, did I forget to up? Oh, I forgot to update it. My bad. I'm sorry. God darn it, I forgot. I forgot.
Uh-oh, you better
Oh
be playing.
god. I am
You
so
you you
sorry.
better you better boot up the Marvel Rivals,
I
otherwise we're gonna be in
I am
trouble.
so embarrassed. People were coming in thinking I'm playing Marvel Rivals. No, we're just talking about gaming news. Thank you for the sub. I did. Oh, God. Whatever. Anyways, it happens. Typical VTuber stuff. My bad. But yeah, like it's definitely gonna be a bumpy ride. Uh, Indie studios are definitely gonna have more of a time inheriting than AAA companies, because I don't see AAA companies surviving the inevitable game crash. I'm noticing that large
No,
publishers are losing favor, so that means more breakouts for indies. Exactly. It's just leaving more room for smaller. I was gonna say smaller companies to break ahead, do get ahead. But yeah,
100%.
yep, yep.
Like like we're in the age of like the new indie rush is like, it is, in my opinion, it's already upon us. Like, we're already there, because the amount of I'm playing more indie games than I am playing like AAA games by far. And that's just counting actual like tiny like small indie game studios. If we're talking about non-official megacorp published games, I mean, that's, there's that opens up the amount of games way, 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 way higher. Like, we're talking like that's through the roof in that case then. Or by publishers who aren't, eh, what would I quantify that as? Like, I'm looking through my thingamabobby here. Store page. Uh, oh, well, I mean, sure, Larian, right? Like Larian Studios. Who is Larian Studios published by? Larian Studios. In the realm of publisher, they're an indie act, right? Like, they're an actual indie platform.
I'm Saib. Did you cast a spell on him? Oh no! What did you What did you reave? I don't know. Is it me? Did my internet cut out? It's been cutting out lately. It's not me, right? Drag your witness? What? I think maybe his internet went out or something. I didn't do anything. Why are you blaming me? Well, I guess that was everything we were gonna talk about today. Time to go to the celery for your crimes. You silly. Oh my. Well, I think that's all for today.
Oh, I'm
Hello?
back.
Hi.
My internet dropped.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was
yeah.
at first I thought maybe my internet dropped because it's been
Nope.
weird.
Everything dropped like a rock for me. I was like, oh, I am definitely not seeing chat anymore. I'm definitely not seeing the streams anymore.
Uh,
Uh-oh, not good. But yeah, anyways,
everyone's blaming me. They're like, "Good job in crashing his internet." I didn't do anything. It's not my fault. But
well, yeah.
it's
But no, yeah, good video. We have our first episode of our new authors podcast is going live on the YouTube channel, so do check that out. It's called, I think we can announce it now. It's called the Word Parlor Podcast. So we're dropping that. This should be like today or tomorrow or Tuesday, kind of thing. So we're dropping that. We've got it all lined up. And again, that's on the main Triple S League channel. That's the first episode. It's only the first episode because we're using that to kind of notify everybody there that's like, hey, we have a new channel where we're going to be talking lots of book stuff. Ash and I are both authors, and we're pretty heavily into that. We do have an Amazon bestseller, so shocker. Um, and I have been schmoozing with other writers and authors, and I have been going to all kinds of events and things constantly nonstop to get more connections. And yeah, so we're chasing this pretty hard, honestly. But yeah, check that out sometime this week,
yep.
next couple of days.
Excited.
Super, very.
Let's see. Is there anything? No, I don't think there's anything for me to announce. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate every single one of you. All the information that you need is down below of the streams. And yeah, make sure you like and subscribe and follow for more, informative game news. Sorry for everyone on Twitch who thought I was streaming a game. My bad. But yeah. And we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.